This has Grizzlies fans absolutely livid as Memphis went down in a late fourth quarter collapse against San Antonio. However, that's not the thing that's on everybody's mind right now. It's something completely different. Looking at social media last night and today, it's something completely different on everybody's mind right now when it comes to Grizzlies Nation. We'll talk about that in just a moment, but what's going on, you guys? Jared Alatorre here for another episode of Grizzlies Digest. Thank you so much for tuning into the video. Of course, you got to hit that like and subscribe button for constant updates. You don't want to miss it. We're well into the NBA season now, well in full swing. We'll pretty much be in prime time swing once we get to Christmas Day, but we're already up and rolling. Got to hit that subscribe button. And of course, if you want to join our team, you can, and you can apply. If you hit the link in the description below, it's digestmedia.ca/join-us to apply. But getting into the video now, Cedric Coward scoring 8 points and then sitting on the bench. So why am I bringing this up? Because a lot of Memphis fans last night talking about Tuomas Iisalo's rotation and almost comparing it to hockey rotations. Because there's one point where, like I just showed you, Cedric Coward on a tear, who's very much in that rookie top ladder with Con Knipple and Cooper Flagg, on a tear last night in the third quarter. And in the second quarter, there was a time wherever he was just knocking shots down as well. And Coach Iisalo said, all right, let's go to the bench. And that really angered a lot of Memphis fans, saying, well, look, and I'm not acting like I'm in the mind of a head coach. I'll never be like that. But usually, if you have the hot hand, you don't sit that guy down. You don't mess with that. Another example I want to say is if y'all remember the 2019 NBA Finals between the Raptors and Warriors, where the Raptors were up 3-1 in Game 5 on their home court. They had a chance to close it out on their home court. But they were up by a couple of points, I think, with about 3.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And they have all the momentum. They call timeout. And then eventually, Steph Curry making shots, Klay Thompson making shots. Warriors end up winning. Eventually, and thank goodness, the Raptors end up winning Game 6 and winning the championship, which really made me happy. But that was a prime example of you don't sit the hot hand down. That was a prime example of that. And the Raptors, they learned their lesson. But this is another lesson for that. You don't sit your hot hand, and why are you doing it? So a lot of calls already for Tuomas Iisalo and his job. And again, it's not too radical to think that the Grizzlies might just tank right now because of how they're playing and because there's no way that they're going to get back into it. Ja Morant, he may not play for a couple more weeks. And for Ty Jerome, how much can he contribute even with no Ja Morant there for the meantime? And for Scottie Pippen Jr., he won't be back until January of 2026. So in reality, where is this team going? Now, I think those are valuable questions. But Tuomas Iisalo, I think we kind of all need to slow down a little bit. Because he's only 15 games into the season, in his first full season. I think we ought to give him a chance at least to just finish this out, because it's not easy for any head coach in this position at all. Now, do I think that he needs to do a better job in rotations? Yes. Do I think that he should be fired or anything like next week? No. I mean, that's just too much. That's too radical, way too extreme. Let's let him get through some games first, because any other head coach, I mean, if this was Greg Popovich, I mean, he'd be struggling with this squad right now. So let's not go into that, let's not go into tinfoil hat mode just quite yet. But this is also another point. Zach Edey played, and this is true, this is incredible. Zach Edey played 3 minutes and 47 seconds in the second quarter. Now, I saw a point, I believe, by the commercial appeals to Michael Cole, who said, well, yeah, you can say that, but there's a difference between playing minutes and playing true basketball minutes. And, whenever these guys get back from a serious injury like what Zach just came back from, you got to give him some time to kind of adjust and to get comfortable with those minutes. Because he eventually said after the game, he said, well, I started to feel very exhausted. And, of course they needed Edey. If they have Edey for all their games this year, they may not be 4-11. I mean, he was hustling on the board, and he may not get credit for some of the rebounds or some of the extra possessions that he forced, but just being able to tip the ball up and just make guys work for it, I mean, that's toughness. You can't teach that. Of course, he's 7'4" and 305 pounds. That's nothing no one can teach. But for Edey, just being able to help extend possessions and give guys a chance to score, that's the dirty work. That's why he's so valuable. And he played phenomenal. I thought he did a great job. But that much in the second quarter, you need to give him a little bit more time than that. And of course, this is the box score if you want to see what exactly happened. So Cedric Coward, it's 19 points on the night, 26 minutes. A lot of people criticize that. If you look at Cam Spencer, he played phenomenal as well. 3 of 7 from downtown, 6 of 10 field goals. Another great shooting night for him, and he's really going to have to kind of take over that point guard role, even though it's really up for grabs right now. I mean, they signed Jemai Meshack, but he didn't even play last night. If you want to look at Vince Williams, a lot of people talking about Vince Williams scoring 14 points. And I know that Vince has been kind of a criticized player over the past few months, but I think we just need to give him a little bit of time to learn and grow. Let him get his shot form in place. Let's be patient with Vince. I think he's showing strides of what kind of shooter he can be. So let's be a little patient with him. Jaren Jackson Jr., though, a lot of people on him and saying, well, why are we signing him? He needs to get better. Well, yeah, he does. I think shooting-wise, though, he needs to get better. 3 turnovers, 6 of, what is that? Excuse me, I'm sorry. 8 of 10 for 8 of 20 field goal percentage. My brain is just fried right now. And yeah, I think that he does need to play a little bit better, but I think he still has some great basketball ahead of him. Some days are going to be worse than others. A lot of people criticizing him on his defense against Harrison Barnes, who, by the way, was really the Grizzlies killer of the night. Harrison Barnes just going off in the fourth quarter. Now, I do think Jaren Jackson needs to play better defense in regards to that situation. But again, let's not go incredibly too crazy. Yes, he needs to get better, but again, what can the Grizzlies do right now? What really can they do right now in this scenario? And that's where perfect transition. Hey, now, this is a great point. But we're injured is what people will say. And my point, it was a couple of videos ago saying, hey, you still got to play basketball. Now, this is a little bit more in the line of maybe a little more harsh than what I said a couple of videos ago, but right, this guy says it doesn't matter. You can tell from a philosophy standpoint how things will go down even with a full roster. And if this is an organizational decision to run these lineups, I can care less of how Zach Kleiman is a great drafter. So, yeah, you got to play basketball. Again, I think they're doing what they can right now, and we know it's not going to be great. At times, we know it's not even going to be good. But you really have no choice. I mean, you just signed Jemai Meshack. You signed Charles Bassey because they really couldn't do anything without Zach Edey rebounding the basketball, post presence. That's how desperate they were. They signed Charles Bassey because they couldn't wait for Zach Edey to come back, and he didn't even. I don't think he really played all that much either. Charles Bassey. So that's something to really think about, is what actually are we doing at this point. But no, that's that's a good conversation for the comment section. Hit that comment section down below. Let me know what you think. And I think I had mentioned this in the last video I made as well. Growltile Central going, let's prepare the full tank. Anyone not on board with that is delusional. I think that with Tuomas Iisalo, he wants to work his guys hard. And I think he's doing the best that he can. But tanking at this point, really not a radical thing to think of. But I want to give Tuomas Iisalo a chance before I end this video. I want to give him a chance to kind of say his piece. And let's see what he says. This was a couple nights ago. He said, I would say that I'm critical about my own work, so I don't really think about what other people are saying. I have very high standards for myself. I know that I'm doing everything that I can in this situation to help us win. That's how I've always felt. That's what's more important to me. I'm just trying to find ways of helping the guys we have healthy, produce as well as possible, and compete as well as possible. That's Grizzlies head coach Tuomas Iisalo. So giving him a fair chance to kind of state his piece and kind of what he's doing. Of course, with the Grizzlies, it's just not all that good right now. I mean, when you don't have Ja Morant, things are not going to look good. And that's just the cold hard truth of it. But that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. You can like this video, comment on this video, share this video. You also want to hit that subscribe button so you never, ever miss another upload from us here at Grizzlies Digest. But we will see you in the next video. Hit the comment button below. Tell me what you think about what we talked about. Tuomas Iisalo and his rotation. What are the Grizzlies going to do from here? You think they're going to tank? No tank? What do you think? Hit that comment section down below. Let us know your thoughts. We'll see you in the next video.